We all agree that Tears of the Kingdom is amazing, but there's one part that made me so frustrated and so disappointed. It's the worst part of Tears of the Kingdom that I've experienced so far. It's designed so poorly, I had to make a video complaining about it. And the worst part is it only would have taken a few small changes to fix the major problems this part has. Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are two insanely successful video games. A lot of that success comes from the excellent game and world design. The games always feel one step ahead of the player. The developers created an endless cycle of discovery where everything you interact with and everywhere you go leads to a rewarding experience. They crafted a world that anticipates and rewards players' actions, fostering a sense of trust where players know that their time spent exploring, experimenting, and engaging with the world won't be wasted. These games have breathtaking moments, and through them I've experienced some of my highest highs of gaming. My monkey brain goes crazy at the thrill of taking the world apart and putting it back together into a hoverbike or a rocket skateboard. Hell, I've even seen people who have built full-on working Gundams. But with those highs, Tears of the Kingdom has also subjected me to crushing lows. Things that left me feeling frustrated, mad, moments where your carefully crafted rocket ship sends you bang, zoom, straight to an early grave, making you feel like everything was a hassle and a waste of time. Amidst all these ups and downs, one part of the game stands out for all the wrong reasons. The diorama side quest in Tarrey Town. Tarrey Town is a charming little village that also appears in Breath of the Wild. There, the player can build it from the ground up, creating a thriving community and forging emotional connections with each of its hand-picked residents. It's corny, but so heartwarming, and it gets the player personally and emotionally invested in Tarrey Town's growth and residents. But in Tears of the Kingdom, that emotional connection is severed. When you go to Tarrey Town for the first time, it barely feels like anyone there remembers who you are. It feels like the devs had so much emotional leverage they built up there that went to waste. But this video is about building dioramas. So, there's these two freaky little ghoul guys named Colton and Kilton. Colton flies around in his magic balloon selling you monster cosplays and pretty dresses. Kilton settles down in Tarrey Town where he'll ask you to get a picture of a bokoblin so that Hudson can use it to make a cool statue. You go get the pic, easy, and Hudson makes you the statue. They want you to put the statue on their nature stage, and at this point you understand what this questline is. You're making a diorama. Much like the mom from Hereditary or some other kind of neurotic sociopath, I love to spend hours building and decorating little houses in The Sims. I love to play Planet Zoo and painstakingly put little custom fences together piece by piece. So once I understood what was going on here, my brain lit up like a Christmas tree. I was imagining all the possibilities, the different monsters I could collect, and how I could use the terrain to build an interesting scene. After the bokoblin, they ask you to get a picture of a horiblin to make the next statue for the questline. And this is where the quest starts to fall apart, but when you're playing, you won't know it yet. By the time you reach Tarrey Town, you've almost certainly met a horiblin. You probably met him in a cave where he was crawling around on the ceiling or walls acting like a funky little dude. That's basically their default state. The majority of their existence is spent upside down. So you go to a cave, get your little picture, and maybe you're thinking about the cool cave structure they put on the diorama stage, and how cool it's gonna be when you bring back your guy and you stick that nasty man to the ceiling of the cave, just like how he'd be in the wild. You go back, you make the statue, and oh, well, that's a little weird and silly. They built him on his nose, but no problem. I'll just pick him up and glue him to the... Oh, you can't attach things to the diorama base. Okay, well, since I can't hang him upside down, I guess I'll just put him on his hands and feet so it looks like he's just crawling around on the ground. Oh. His nose has the gyroscopic force of 1,000 suns. The physical mass of his nose is so high, it could start forming a black hole at any second. If you put this guy any way except nose down, he will exert megatons of force to gyroscopically right himself. Okay, well that's a little annoying, but whatever, I'll just get the next monster. So they want you to get a picture of a talus, but not just any talus will do. They specifically need a battle talus. Now what makes a battle talus unique? What makes it a battle talus and different from any other talus they could have asked you to get a picture of is that the battle talus has battlements and platforms on top of him, and monsters stand up there and fart in your general direction. That's its defining feature. It's literally the reason it exists. So you go get your picture, they make the statue, wham bam, and of course, you make a complete fool of yourself trying to get your little guy to stand on top of it. Now there's a couple reasons why this task is almost impossible. The talus has terrible posture, they scale it down a little bit, but mostly it's the giant force field of a hitbox that exists around his danger dongle. The next monsters Kilton wants aren't that bad, to be honest, although the Frox has a gyroscopic belly button thing going on, but the reason why this is the worst part of Tears of the Kingdom is just that the choices they made in the quest design set this whole part of the game up for failure. I know this is just a silly little side quest, and it's okay that the diorama building system has issues and isn't some polished, fully fleshed out thing. But what's frustrating is that it's like they ask you to get pictures of the worst possible monsters that will bring the issues to the forefront, and they do it in a way which almost systematically defies the player's expectations and basic creative instincts. If I can't glue guys to the stage, then why did you specifically ask me to get a picture of the guy who lives his life glued to the ceiling? If I won't really be able to put guys on top of the battle talus, then why are you making me specifically get the one talus that's designed to have men on top of him? Gay rights. This questline wouldn't be an issue if they just asked you to get a picture of Choo-Choos or Lizalfos or basically any other monsters in the game except for the ones they picked. In conclusion, the Monstrous Collection quest chain is a masterclass in dark game design meant to frustrate and confuse the player. The concept of building and decorating a diorama is so fun, but the way they executed it is just bad, and the questline does an excellent job of forcing its flaws into the spotlight. Thank you for joining me on this rant. If you made it this far, then subscribe and follow me on Twitch for more stupid content.